anything fancy here, folks, but I want you to pay very close attention to this guitar lesson. This, I think, is going to be one of the most crucial things that maybe I've done on here up to this point. I think that this will open a lot of doors. I also think that it's not terribly difficult. I think it's something that you can use in your playing immediately. I think all these things, all really good things. Now, I'm going to try to break this down as simply and as thoroughly as I possibly can. What I'm doing here is kind of what I did in those couple little examples I just gave you. Again, nothing rocket science, but this is something that you can use to play over almost any chord in any progression in any style. It's a universal, not a trick, it's not a lick, it's just part of playing the guitar. It's two notes together. And it comes directly from the chord shapes. As you know, everything that I say, I'm gonna tell you that it comes from the chord shape, because that's the way that I learned, and that to me is the most concrete, easy to understand way to unlock the fingerboard on the guitar. I also really like shooting videos this time of day. It's about 4:30 here in the afternoon in Nashville. Been on talks with Artist Works and my buddy that helps me out, management, Chris Ford, and just we've had phone calls all day long. There's so much stuff, man, that's coming. That's amazing. That's what we do. We just keep working. Man, I work all from morning till night. I'm working on stuff, and so that's what I moved here to do. I want to see how far I can take this career. But not to get off on that tangent, because that's definitely one. But I wanted to show you this, guys. So these little harmonies, they could be, some people call them sixths, but it's if I'm in and they're in, and they can come from a lot of different chord shapes. I'm going to start with showing you this one right here, and I'm going to show you how they work, and I'm going to give you some examples, and this could be another 30-minute guitar lesson. Who knows? But oh, and I got to tell you too up front, like the pros do. If you're watching the channel and you're getting something out of it, please subscribe. And also all the information for any lessons or courses or anything you want to know, those are all in the descriptions below. So in every video I've ever done, there's a description. If you click more, all the links are right there. So a bunch of guys have been asking, how do we email you? How do we book lessons? How do we do this? How do we do that? All that info is all in the descriptions in the description section of the videos, right? It's not an easy thing to describe, but anyway, so here we go. So, I was going to tell, did I tell you this already? I was going to say I like to shoot at this time of the afternoon, because the natural light comes in these windows, and it looks so much better, because I'm not good with these lights. It always looks weird, and so I'm not a lighting guy. I try to play the guitar, but check this out. So if I'm in the G chord, E shape, if I have my third and my root, and these shapes that I'm going to show you right now, they're universal. So if I go G, and it's really the major scale. So if I go, and then the next shape is like, picture an A minor, right? Then your D-shaped G chord. So, right? So that's it. It's the third, the B note on the 4th fret G string, 3rd fret high E string. You're just playing those two strings. And then you go to the 5th fret on the G string and the E string, 7th fret G string, E string. So that's the pattern. Right? Okay, if I go to C, same thing. Right, if I go to B, if I go to F, there's a lot of stuff in just this, right? Back to G. I'm just going to random chords. Let's go to B, let's go to A flat. It just goes along with the chord. It's perfect, right? So now watch this. if I take that same idea and I go to the C shape, then it's going to be the B string and the D string. Same form with your hands, right? Same as G. Same as the E shape. So go to the C shape. Now it's here on the D and the B string. Because now that's the major third, that's the root. So if I go to D, okay. If I go to the D chord, A shape D chord. Now that, so when I go to there, that's coming out of the A shape D chord. Just like this. That's going up to the D shape G. This is going up to that part of the D shaped, sorry, D chord A shape. That's why the cage system's so confusing. It's like A shape, D chord. You're trying to think too much. That's why I'm not a huge fan of calling it the cage system. I like chord inversions better. Okay, so my point being, now in that A shape, you've got this. Now here's another, to add to that, as a matter of fact, let's go back to the G, and I'm going to show you the whole scale. That's the whole G major scale in these little harmonies. But you can see, that's the part of the scale, but it's also coming from the same D information that we had a second ago. See? But in G major, it's all built in. It's the same thing. You got to see it as the same thing. Right? So if I go, that's, you know, see how that works? So now all these things are connected, and it's amazing for making these melodies. So if I'm in the if I'm in this G chord, now watch. I can go. Now, if I play that part instead of, that would be D, but if I play this, like the C version, but over the G chord, if I end here, now that insinuates G7 because there's my G7 chord. So you get this. Right? So there's a major version and then the flat 7 version. So I'm just showing you all the different ways to do this, and there's more clarity coming here in just a second, but that's the guts of it. So if, like, again, if I go to the D, that's D7. But what happens if I keep going? There's the A shape G. Back to D. To A. You know that like an A. Well, then watch. Same thing in D. Up to G. G7. Right back to your D. So you're really seeing these shapes and stuff come together with these little harmonies. It's amazing. So let me show you. And this is like, man, for country. And of course you learn those on all your strings. But the most common, that's the move. Or resolving right back to your G, because it's right there. You start seeing all this stuff come together. Okay, this same concept works with these too. The double notes. Here's your third, here's your root, but we're working with these because this is the same pattern, right? The one string in the middle, you're not doing two together like this. Out of this, you're doing those, right? Oh, sorry. It's all coming from these big chords. The problem with me is I want to take this and I just keep seeing it, so I want to keep going. I need to stop and only give you a little bit because it's easier to digest. But now watch this. With blues too, right? You know. Things. If I go to F, C, G, B flat, they're just all right there. Okay, now watch this. If I go to E minor, well now the G shape, the G chord C shape becomes E minor. So now that becomes, there's your E minor. It's C there, it's E minor there. So then you get all that. Watch. So a guy the other day said, well, if I start this lick here, he said, you said do it everywhere. How do I do it everywhere? Well, find the same notes. It's real. Here's the thing about this stuff. I can show you everything that I know here, but you still have to use your brain a little bit. If you just think about it, oh, how do I start that lick? Well, find the same note. It's like this. Those are all the same notes, but you got to think and you got to listen a little bit. I can't give you everything. So, no, none of us can. I don't mean that doesn't sound good. I can't give you everything. Of course I can't. I don't have everything. But I got a couple little things. I got a few ideas floating around there. So, E minor. All these amazing sounds in there. Those work. A minor, because there's A, there's A minor. Some of that cool stuff. Okay, now let me show you this progression, and you guys have heard this a million times. I've done this a million times. A flat dominant 7, C sharp minor, E7, A, B7, E, turn around, E, 3 dominant, 6 minor, 1 7, 4, 5, 1. Okay, now watch this. I'll play this entire chord progression using just those little sixths, or harmonies I call them. So here's E, here's the first one. Well, guess what? Here's the next chord. So what do you think that one's going to be? Where's the next one? Right there. E7. Guess what? A. Guess what? B. B7. I'm horribly out of tune. Then guess what? Turn around. Right, so now watch, let's do it on this. What would that be there? Sorry. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. B. That gets a little tricky. And I like the first one better. It's better sounding. This one gets way too high up here. But that's the idea. I mean, man, that really marks, just changing that, instead of going, yeah, it's not gonna work. You gotta, but how nice is that? It keeps climbing up with it. So you're just going, you're using those chords and those little harmonies. I'm playing the same 2 strings over the whole thing, but it really works well. E7, A, B, right? Isn't that cool? Look, do it on these 2. Here's your third, here's your root. I wasn't going to do this, but that's soloing over all those chords with just 2 strings. Sorry. You can find all kinds of little things. But so, guys, check out those little sixths. Those are just absolutely crucial. And then of course, you know, there's parts of those everywhere, like the C shape. You know, you've got the harmonies together, you've got that one, you've got that one, you've got that one, you've got that one. That one's not really, you can't really do anything. That's a root and a fifth, but that's a proper harmony, that's a proper harmony. That's not really, but this is. So, you know, all these parts of these chords that you can use. So chords. I think I'm gonna name this some clickbait title because I am trying to grow this channel, and maybe I'm getting caught up in the hype of it or whatever. But if I want views to keep growing the channel and stay in the game, then I apparently the only thing I can do is put these titles that draw attention to what I'm doing. Because if I put up new song or hey, here's an idea, then that just, the algorithms don't pick that up, and it just gets lost. I'll get like 1,000 people that'll see it. And if I put some, you know, I just don't want you to think that the little slick titles I might come up with that might be a more eye-catching, that's not gonna translate over into the content. The content is always gonna be raw, unfiltered, and to the point and direct, and it's gonna be real. And hopefully, I think it's gonna be right, because this method of playing is the same that all my friends that are amazing use it. The heavy jazz cats that I've talked to that are really good, they think the same way. We're playing over chords. Modes aren't playing over chords. It's when a tune is changing and the chords are changing, you're thinking about playing over the chords. It could be pentatonic. Add a couple little scale notes to that. These are the little things you add. Just have the pentatonic, add one or two little scale notes, and that's where this stuff starts really taking shape, and it starts sounding more like music. All right, guys, just a little quick afternoon lesson. I'm heading up to the lake with Dick. I've got a meeting with Brett Papa in the morning. We're really announcing something cool that's coming up, and then I'm gonna jump in the car, and me and Nick are gonna drive up to the lake, grill some steaks, get out on the boat, take a little breather. It's been hot as hell here, upper 90s, heat advisories all over the place. And then I think tomorrow it starts dropping down to like 83 or 84, which we're welcoming that, of course, man. The middle Tennessee summer heat is just brutal. Of course, I know a lot of you guys are living it, but a lot of you guys are up on the Pacific Northwest, which is, man, I bet the weather out there is pretty killer right now. Who knows? But all right, guys, telecasting to you. Don't forget to check out the song idea that we did with Maddie. That is just, I'm loving that melody so much. A couple guys commented on that. Thanks for all the kind words. Thanks for the love for my finger, and hopefully that's going to be getting back to 120% real soon. Signing off, folks. We will see you down the road real soon. All right, cheers.